Jazz Today with Richie, Beirach and Scheuber.
How was he? I mean,
Tony was really nice to me, kind. Hey, Richie, how you doing? Richie, what a great song, man! That was a wonderful song. He says, "You sound good, man. I never heard you play. You sound really good," and just very and he meant it. Mm. Also, Kenny Barron was on the other record, and Kenny Barron, Jim Hall, both. It was a little bit conservative. They wanted Tony for the name. But Tony was happy to have me play because I'm
John is playing too, I think,
huh?
No? Sko is playing.
Sko.
And
Sko.
Mike
Brecker.
Yeah.
Alfonso Johnson.
Yeah.
Electric bass something on that arrangement. But Tony was very kind to me and then we rehearsed Broken Wing.
So didn't you take the chance to ask him to play a trio recording with him, or didn't you ask him? No. Too much respect, or
I wasn't ready.
Okay.
I tell you, it was 1976, and
yeah.
I was not. Although, here's the thing, I had already played with Jack for 3 years with Stan. Mm-hmm. So in a way, that was the hardest thing I ever did. But so I had training with Jack every night, and I you know the story when at the beginning with Jack I was anyway. But I learned to be comfortable with Jack, who was the most unpredictable, with Stan and Dave Holland. So I had that. So Tony was actually, it was more intensely nerve-wracking because of what I thought of him, because I loved him. And his playing to me, he was like this.
Yeah.
And so I was intimidated. But he made me feel very, very comfortable and brought out the best of me. And here's the other thing. At the beginning of Paradox, usually, Chet's record date, right? Chet played the melody, and I said, "Chet, you want to play the first solo?" Like, hoping he would. He said, "No, Richie, you take the first solo." So, Mm-hmm. So I said, "Okay," which makes sense because it's a trumpet, and then he can build after the piano. So I started my solo, and here's the other thing I didn't say. Tony is great, but Tony and Ron, it's unbelievable. It's an amazing combination because they know each other and play together in every situation, and they never think about the time. Never, like you and Regina, right? It's there. It's in their blood. Yeah, so I wasn't just playing with Tony. I was playing with Tony and Ron. And all I can say is you could lean back and you could stop and it would keep going. You can't do that with young bass players. If you stop playing, they lose it. I felt so safe.
That's amazing.
And so comfortable and so supported. And I was able to, I really thought I played pretty well. I played better than I usually do. This 1976, I was okay. But not.
It's interesting because, sorry to interrupt you, but it's interesting you say, I think this is a good essence, what actually is still what a drummer and a bass player has to do. Even if they're playing crazy stuff behind whatever, they have to carry the time.
I agree.
And make you feel good. But this doesn't mean only ding, 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 ding.
No.
But they have to carry the time.
Yes.
And it needs a special bass player. I'm come back to the bass player too.
Bass player to me is as important as the drums. I mean, let's say you had Tony and another bass player who was not experienced, who was okay. Would it be okay? It would be okay, but it wouldn't have that groove, that connection.
Yeah.
Ron Carter was another story. That was maybe for another day. That was very negative.
Yeah.
He was not supportive of me. He was.
Is it a black thing? Sorry
no,
to say, but
no, it wasn't a black thing. No, it was disrespect. He didn't know me at all, and he had done too many record dates. He was smoking a big pipe, and he was reading Billboard magazine on the music stand when we were rehearsing. He's not looking at the music.
It shows disrespect a little bit.
Terrible,
kind of.
Terrible disrespect. And I didn't say anything because it's not my record, and I was nervous.
And Chet was
sleeping in the room. So finally, I said, Ron's looking at the paper, and I said, okay, one chorus of melody, Chet solo, piano solo, head, vamp, out. And Ron's looking at the paper. I said, Ron, okay? He said, of course it's okay. What do you need personal? What's something like yelling at me, right? So I said, okay. You know, I didn't get up and say, motherfucker. Okay? So I didn't do that. So the tune, he played, here's the thing. Ron played great. For me, for Chet, with Tony. He played brilliantly with that big fat sound with the low notes. No bullshit interaction, just very clean, beautiful. And then after the take, we did one take. This is terrible. We did one take. It was perfect. It was the take. So John Snyder says, Richie, that sounded really great. Great, Chet. Good job. So, but let's do one more just for safety. You know, always do one more in case of the head. Mm-hmm. So Ron says, what do we have to do one more for? Is that a good take? So I have another record date in 3 hours. So John Snyder comes out of the recording thing and goes and takes Ron and talks to him. And I heard what happened later. It was like, listen, motherfucker, if you don't stop this terrible attitude, I'm going to go get another bass player. Eddie Gomez is right down my corner. So he said, so he was very difficult with me and played great.
But it was not your record. I mean, it was not your record. So,
no, it was Chet's record.
So there were Mike and Sco, so, I mean...
But this was only quartet.
Oh, okay.
Mike and Sco, that was another day.
Yeah, okay.
It was just me and Chet and Ron in the studio.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Maybe he didn't like this, I don't know.
He liked the songs, he didn't like me. And then after, here's the thing, Tony comes over to me. He goes, Richie, great. I really enjoyed playing with you. Thank you. And I said, man, I don't know what to do with Ron. He said, don't listen to him. Ron's done too many record dates. That was what he said. But he was so kind to me. He meant it. Yeah. Here's the thing about Tony on Broken Wing. A jazz waltz. Boo-doo-doo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, so what would a normal drummer do?
Playing the time, of course. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. What does Tony do? Nothing. Except on two, he hits the cymbal. Do-do-do. That's it. Like a chamber group. Chamber. Then he comes in finally. Brushes, but not traditional. Made it into something more. Jabali does that too. You do that, Al. This is modern drumming. As opposed to Philly Joe.
With difference, they invented it.
Yeah.
And Tony, I mean, he had the way I know he loved the brushes. I heard him in a workshop saying
he loved
the brushes. But as he had not how you say a calf. No, it's not really calf, but this kind of calf head, which makes the sound of the brushes. He hadn't on the snare drum.
Okay.
He has this plastic.
Plastic head.
The plastic head, which is. How can I say it's flat, so the sound of the brushes would not be like on a normal skin, which you use normally on the snare drum as a jazz drummer.
Yes.
So he probably can't do this sound because it doesn't work because the skin doesn't give the sound. So he had maybe to find another way to play the brushes. I thought about this. Maybe not. I don't know because on his drums he has only the same. Skins, you know, this black dot.
Yeah.
And you can look through.
Yes.
And you have no sound with this on like mine too.
Why have that?
It makes the same sound as the tom-toms, so it makes the toms
consistent.
in a consistent row.
Okay.
Because if not, the snare drum sounds a little bit different.
What about the older guys? What about Mel Lewis with a different head on?
Of course, they had this typical
the calf
thing here, and also on the toms, which makes a more bebopish or traditional sound. And Tony had this. I mean, this was also on this recording. His sound is unbelievable, full, deep, like an African drums.
Yes, with
loud,
big
but
tone.
not
hard,
and not. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the reason. It's just my idea about this because he always had this other skin.
Remember how the spring record starts. His own record.
Exactly.
Own brushes. He
Own
starts.
brush.
Up
And
tempo.
I'm pretty sure this is another thing.
Another head.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I'm pretty sure.
I wish he was
I
here.
think he did a lot of things like people now changing drumsticks but it's not the same.
No.
It's to make sounds, or they put some things on the hi-hat, the young guys, or it makes click clack clock, whatever. It's not the same, I would say.
What do you feel is the real function of the bass player in a modern group?
Oi. Now we come to a weak point. I told you I'm not listening to a bass player. No, it's not true. We played with so many. For me, the best bass player
It's Regina.
is Regina.
Of course.
Because we have the same time feeling. Whatever it is, I can't explain it. It was from the beginning like this. When I met her first time and I saw her playing, I knew she has the timing. Like we have the same feeling.
Yeah.
There are so many good bass players, but probably Yosha is one. I did a recording with Ron McClure too.
Tell me about that.
This was amazing, and I was like this too, and I was
Oh, man.
not
In New York?
scared, but respectful.
in
In New York with City West with Stefan and Tim Hagens,
Ah,
New York edition.
Big
And
Steph, the guitar.
Big Steph, yeah, and Rolf, and
Whose record was it?
ours. We were a trio. We had no bass player, so we decided to ask Ron
Amazing.
and Tim Hagens as a guest soloist.
He's great.
Tim was amazing, and Ron, he was so nice. He organized the studio, and I even was too young to understand and really appreciate how great it was to
Do you have the CD?
But
I'd like to
I
hear
have
it.
to- yeah, you heard it. We can hear it.
Okay.
It was really amazing, and then you feel like, it goes from alone, and it was actually the same. I did another recording with James Genus.
Yeah.
This was amazing too because it swings alone, and you can really play around.
It's already going. You
And-
don't have to make it go.
Yeah, and this makes you very free. So in one way, it's great,
It's
and
so true.
in the other way, it makes you a little bit humble. Or is your friend happy with this? You go on his shoulder, make crazy things around, and
Ron
he
loves
has
it, though.
and he has to do it.
But
So
Ron loves to be the bass player.
this is the thing.
He loves it. And he's a good soloist,
Yeah.
too, by the way. He just has his ego very much controlled, and he loves to play the bass. He told me a story. Paul Chambers got very sick with the band with Wynton Kelly and Jimmy Cobb. So they called Ron with Wes Montgomery. That was it. He's on the recordings. And Ron was 19, and he had to fill in for Paul Chambers, who at that time was the greatest bass player playing with everybody. He was sick, So Jimmy Cobb and Wynton Kelly and Wes Montgomery, they made him feel so comfortable like Tony. And he was 19, inexperienced, could play, but nothing like that. And he sounded great with them because Ron has a basic time feel. He has that swing, like Ron Carter, but a little stronger, a little bit more because he's a bigger guy. But the main thing is, his attitude is, he loves to swing. He loves to get with the drums. He's not trying to, to be himself.
yeah,
And I think he probably made you comfortable, right?
absolutely comfortable.
We,
And he was very nice too. You know this better than me with the old cats, the old bebop cats. This could be really terrible. So he was very nice.
Yeah,
He
he's very...
invited us to his house, and it was great.
Was this in the 80s or 90s?
It was in the 80s, yeah.
So we were playing with Quest then? Must have been.
Of course. And I remember this story when Stefan said, "Oh, you have not so much CDs," and the only reaction was, "Richie was here."
Oh, I borrowed everything.
I took
I took everything.
probably, nice CDs, let me give it. He said Richie was here. We didn't get it. We
Now
get
you
it
get
later. Now, of course, now. It was funny.
I
He
love-
was really...
I love Ron.
And a nice wife. He had, I think he's girlfriend.
Lois?
Yeah, I think
Black hair, very pretty.
Yeah, Chinese a little bit or Japanese. Yeah.
I've been on the road with Ron for 40 years, and we've traveled together. Leaf stays in the house. Jabali stays in the apartment or goes with young guys or girls. And me and Ron used to walk around the city. We'd get to the town, put down the bags, and walk. In those days, I would walk. Yes, ask him.
Very interesting.
Ask him. I would walk.
Okay.
And we'd walk around and look at stuff and go into stores and, of course, have a drink and have some food and come back in. Always. But Ron is a team player.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I tell you, I'm very lucky I played with all the bass players, with Eddie Gomez and George all the time, Buster Williams. You have great bass players who are very impersonal, who play really great, and then goodbye, goodbye. Very formal. But Ron gets with you. He gets with you, and he's very, what is that word, the German word? Gemütlich? Is that the right word?
Gemütlich, maybe, yeah.
Not really right.
Not really, but...
Okay, question.
But you know who is, if you control him, I'm sorry to say it like this, but Joscha.
Yes, I like him very much.
He can play great solos too.
Yes,
he
can.
wants. You have to fix
many.
him sometimes.
Too many.
Yeah, but if he is a team player too. I think
Yes,
at
he
the
is.
end he's an amazing team player, and that's why I like. From here, of course, Joscha is for me
Yeah.
great to play with. Gregor too. Gregor's brother.
Veit.
Veit too.
Veit
Absolutely.
is wonderful. I love playing with Veit.
But Veit is more like Ron Carter, more sophisticated
In a way, yeah.
person somehow, I would say.
Yeah.
Joscha is a rock.
I need an animal. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In
I
the
understand.
music, I need somebody.
Yeah.
That shit. I want it. Hit me in the face,
Yeah.
But Joscha's great. But it's true. When we first started our trio with Regina, I was so amazed because I know her for a while, and she was my master's student, not anymore, of course, and she was handling the bass function as good as a bass player, and we were swinging together, and not just swinging but breathing together.
Yeah.
So after that, it was when we changed to head. It was not so easy, but it became.
She has also for me the kind of pushing, but not rushing.
Yes, right. Very good.
She pushes.
Very good.
And she keeps it going. That's what I want from a bass player, actually.
Yes.
But not rushing or dragging or whatever.
It's very subtle. It's a very subtle thing. Yeah. I want a bass player that I can sit back on, like this, and I can play behind a beat.
Yeah, I know you like this. Yeah.
A lot of times I like to play behind a beat, and if you're with an inexperienced young bass player, he slows down.
Or even a drum, of course.
Yeah, they slow down. Yeah. They don't know to keep the thing going.
Yeah.
Very interesting. If you look at the two great rhythm sections, the two with Herbie and Tony and Ron, and then you look at McCoy, Elvin, and Jimmy Garrison. Fantastic. There's always a balance. Elvin played behind the beat. Ding, jang, dang, ka-chick, gang. McCoy, very on top. Very on top, always. Jimmy Garrison, right in the middle. Fantastic, right? Think about Tony and Ron. Ron played right down the middle. Tony on top. Herbie behind. Chick right on top of the beat. Dave Holland on top but comfortable. And Jack, I don't know, everywhere. We should talk about the beat. This is important for people that don't know. There isn't just one beat. There are three parts of the beat. There's on the beat, think of a quarter note, bang. There's behind the beat, like when you're late. And there's on top of the beat, jing, 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 jing. And these three things are very important and very not spoken about and impossible to notate, but they're critical as to what part of the beat you play on. If you're playing a nice medium tempo, you're not going to be wanting to play on top of the beat because it'll sound stiff and rushing. If you're playing a real up tempo, you don't want to play behind the beat because then you sound like you're dragging. So I would say for each feel, there's an appropriate, comfortable part of the beat. Now, double time is always on top, otherwise it's not popping and sounding great. And if you're playing halftime, you're going to go behind the beat. But
Is this teachable?
no,
No.
only by demonstration. But you can demonstrate, but you can't teach it. No, I can't. I can teach you theory, and I can teach you technique because it's on the paper.
Yeah.
Here's a C chord. Here's this. I can teach you composition. That's a good melody. That's bad. Rhythm is not teachable.
You have to feel it.
I think you have to feel it.
Yeah.
Now, can you start with okay rhythm and it can it become much better? Yes.
Mm.
But here's the truth. This is not very kind, but I can tell in 10 seconds if a student has got really good time or not.
I think so too.
And then that can't change so much. You can get a great feel, but it has to be there. It has
I
to,
think so too. Yeah.
and this is not a good thing for educational people to hear because they make their money based on we can teach you how to play everything. No, you can't.
But you can teach a lot, and you can make a good musician from somebody. We're talking about a very high level, I would say.
Well,
I mean, Berliner Philharmonic's probably playing people too who
Yes.
has the same feeling
Yes.
of rhythm and ideas. So you have to find the right persons. But there are other orchestras too.
and there are student orchestras and high school orchestras.
Yeah. But it's very interesting, and I think a lot of things happens also because you're listening to the music.
A lot of it has to do how much you want it. Look,
And this too, yeah.
I was talented, not a genius, just loved the music, obsessed, talented with an okay ear, not a great ear like Regina. But I wanted it. I wanted it. Because remember, I'm living in New York City in the 60s and 70s when all the bad motherfuckers are alive. Miles, Train, Bill, Herbie, and Chick and Jack, they're all alive and they're young, strong, playing their best. Not 80 years old. And I'm little Richie, and I'm like 18. And these guys were only 24, 25. But those 6 years then was like 1,000 years.
Of course, yeah.
I used to go and sit with Lieb and listen to Train or Miles, and we would like, what was that? And they would say, I don't know. But we loved it. We were not geniuses. We had to put our heads down and work, which is a good message for young people.
Yeah.
I always had good time. I always had a good feel. But I wanted a great time. And not just a great feel. I wanted to be independent so I could play with Tony and Elvin and Jack. So that I wouldn't be like, oh! That attitude, still, you go now in the schools and you have people who don't even want you to play like 50 years ago, like the drums. This is 69 is 50 years ago, right? Did we celebrate that? So now you try and do it's not like it was absorbed into the repertoire so easy. It's still like a foreign kind of a thing, that kind of loud, brilliant, creative, unpredictable drumming. A lot of people don't like it.
Most of the people don't like it, I would say. It comes to the point to jazz, what we love, this kind of jazz. It's not a mass music
No.
at the end.
Was it ever?
No, I don't think so.
In the 30s and 40s, I have to say,
Yeah, that's
it
true.
was, in America, at least, popular music
That's
with
true.
the dance bands.
That's true.
But that's not what we're talking about. No. But you're right. I mean, 1944, 45, after the war, the bebop bands, they were for a very small group of people who loved it. But the mass people said no. So you don't think it's possible to teach? You can teach rhythm, you can teach rudiments, you can teach the instrument, but can you teach someone how to swing?
Until you can show him and he
And?
got it or not, I would say.
Okay.
But on the other side, there are so many different kinds of swing. If you
Now there are.
no, I mean even Elvin is different than Philly Joe
Right.
or Art Blakey, whatever. But somehow there is a certain thing going on.
Let's talk about swing. Let's try and talk about it. Very difficult.
I mean, yeah, we can, or we can do another thing once. But
Just finish
yeah,
with it.
we finished this. Yeah.
Isn't it true that one of the main ingredients of something swinging is that tension between the triplet and the quarter note. If you think of four,
I don't feel a tension between
not
the
not
triplet.
tension.
Okay.
What I mean is, the quarter note, ding, 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 ding. In classical music, you have everything up and down. It's great, right?
Yeah.
But jazz is the triplet.
There's the
based on-
triplet, absolutely. And I must really say, when I was young, I didn't realize this by intellect. Of course, I liked some kind of rock music too.
Yeah, me too.
Deep Purple, whatever. Of course, we listened to it and we danced to it, of course.
Yeah.
But somehow I felt bored about this music. Not about classical music, because in classical music you had all this. I hear a lot of classical music because of my mother. So,
That's right.
So this has all these harmonies and nice things and
And great
Beethoven,
melodies,
whatever, great
and- yeah,
melodies, all
yeah.
these things. But the rhythm,
I agree.
okay, there's some great things, but the triplets was absolutely more interesting for me.
That's exactly right.
And I loved it. And I mean, could I learn it? I don't know, but I had the luck to live at the end weekly with Billy, who played with us. This was amazing. He didn't teach us by sitting
You
and
didn't
smoking
talk so
a
much?
pot.
No?
No, he played with us.
It's the best thing.
We were 3 people or 2, or I was alone too, and then he played. Most of the time he played with us. And you hear this cymbal here directly in your ear.
Would you say you would have, without Billy, you think you would have played as good as you played now?
No, absolutely not.
Huh.
No. I'm pretty sure you can't learn this from records.
Right.
First of all, you have to have it somehow, somewhere to pull it out. You have to love it, and you have to chance to hear it, and maybe also see it. It's all the movement and all this stuff what he was doing. It's not only. It's also how he played, and he played loud. He heated the drums. He was an American black person who heated the drums.
Yeah.
He loved to hit the drums.
Yeah.
And I remember if people play like we have this thing like lightning in Donna, so it must be like a lightning in Donna. If you play no, he was going crazy. What are you doing? You have to hit the drums.
Great.
That the devil comes out.
That's great. But
I loved it.
But you got a lot of shit after you left him and playing with normal good musicians. You got a lot of shit for playing too loud, right?
Absolutely. Still.
Except me.
Except you. And Regina.
And Regina, yeah.
I mean, this is the modern function of the drummers, going back to the kind of bebopish
Absolutely.
accompaniment, which I don't like. I mean, I can do it if you pay
course.
enough, but
Yeah.
but the swing, I loved the swing, and I loved this feeling and dancing, and this is hip, and it's black and white and great. And
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
you
too.
too,
Yeah,
probably.
of course.
That's you have to love it, and I think.
It's important to state, and I know this, I'm sure you do, is that there are people that swing in very different ways. And they're all valid. Nothing is better. You might like something more, but it's not better. Yeah. Listen, playing with Al, Jabali, Tony, Jack, you, I can feel in a certain way you're all the same. Even though you all have different sounds in different ways. You're all the same because it's a certain level of intensity, a certain feeling for togetherness, for strength, and also sensitivity. Ballads, beautiful. But the thing that unites all the great drummers that I play with is this feeling, first of all, of course, a love for the music and the desire to contribute to the moment. And you're not just waiting for a drum solo. I hear some jazz solos who are like ding, 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 and then the solo is like, it means nothing. It means nothing. Mm.
Thanks, Richie.
Thank you.
It was a nice morning.
I need chocolate.
Okay.